Landing. This is a term we coined in KI, and so I want to talk about what it is and how to tell if you are. First of all, it's a verb and a noun, right? So you're landing somewhere or you're on a landing, and potentially you could be landing on a landing. And that, landing on a landing, is actually what we're doing anytime that we're suffering. Because to be landed means to be settled on or anchored in a belief, identity, or worldview. And the reason that that causes us suffering is twofold. The first fold is if we've landed, no matter what the landing may be, we're now rigidly right about something, yeah? So we've chosen a belief, identity, or worldview over the awareness of the present moment. And this usually happens really innocently. In fact, you might not even know that you've landed. Let's say you're 10 years old and you got ambushed by a group of bullies. From that experience on, you now believe that the world is an unsafe place. You've landed in that worldview. Another example might be landing on the belief, I can't do anything right, because you're constantly criticized by like an older sibling. The point here is that people land, and that landing becomes their experience of reality. And there's a lot of suffering in that. For that first hypothetical person, the world really is unsafe. And for the second, they truly can't do anything right because they believe it, yeah? They've landed there. Now, the second fold reason why these landings cause suffering is actually more important than the first, and it's this. As crazy as it sounds, they keep us safe. Safe from the emotions that arose at the time of the event. So safely repressed. For the kid that got bullied, he got angry that they ambushed him like that, but he couldn't show it, right? So he had to push the anger down and start to believe the world is unsafe. And that landing, the world is unsafe, keeps him blind to and thus safe from knowing about, feeling, or showing that buried anger. And this would be a perfect part of an origin story for an anger repressor. Now, the other kid that got criticized by their older sibling, maybe she felt hurt by that, but she couldn't feel and express the hurt for fear of being, criticized even more. So she pushed that hurt down and started to believe, I can't do anything right. This is why we sometimes say that self-hatred or self-attack or self-abuse is the emotional repression mechanism, right? Because for her, they're linked. She has to hate herself and believe she can't do anything right. So she doesn't have to acknowledge, access, feel, and express that buried, repressed hurt. So these are just a few of the, of course, many, many landings that people can land on. But if you want to know what yours are, just ask yourself this question. What am I believing that's causing my suffering? Because whatever that is, that's what's keeping you safe and repressed. And in KI, we'll use those landings in order to access the buried emotions and energies in the body. And when we start doing that and we start coming out of emotional repression, it's great because we stop needing to land anywhere and suffer. If this sounds good to you, visit repressiontest.com.